Did you ever wonder what it would be like to be one of the last people on Earth? Night of the Comet.
The burden of civilization is on us.
Fiction, isn't it?
Okay, horror fans, Night of the Comet takes us back to 1984, where we follow sisters Reggie and Sam. This movie opens with a comet passing by Earth. Many people line the streets to watch the celestial phenomenon, unaware of the deadly consequences. While this is going on, both our leading ladies bed down in places lined by steel. This is an important plot point because as they awake the next morning and find the sky has turned red from radiation caused by the comet, they have no ill effects. However, most of the townfolk that watch the comet pass by have turned into zombies. That's right, what we've got here is an apocalyptic zombie film following two valley girls as they attempt to survive. This is a fun watch and has turned into a bit of a cult classic. From movie theaters to arcade games, this one has the nostalgia fans of the 80s crave, while also having a bizarre story that is literally out of this world. Watch as our two sisters go from innocent ladies to badass survivalists. Good laughs, good action, and an ending that just screams 80s culture.
Let's all go to the lobby.
Herbert West brought a lot of dead people back to life, and not one of them showed any appreciation.
Up next is a personal favorite of mine and was released mid-decade. Let's take a look at 1985's Re-Animator. This one takes the word bizarre and runs with it. You can't go wrong with Re-Animator. Horror royalty Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton shine in this classic, campy, H.P. Lovecraft-inspired 80s classic. This tale opens in Switzerland. This gives us our first look at Herbert West, the mad scientist played by Jeffrey Combs. Here, he is kicked out of the University of Zurich and is accused of killing his professor, but West, in his defense, says, "I gave him life." Not wanted by the Swiss anymore, West packs up his research and settles somewhere that's perfectly named for a horror movie, the Miskatonic University in Arkham, Massachusetts. Yeah, that's where I'm going if I'm a disgraced mad scientist. I mean, New England is great for the culture and history, but Arkham sounds like a place where a mad scientist can really get down to business. Here, the rest of the cast gets introduced. The other main players in Re-Animator are West's roomie Dan, Dean Halsley, his daughter Megan, and Dr. Hill. Once at Arkham, West produces a reagent. Yes, I agree, I don't hear that word too often, but it's just a fancy way to say chemical mixture that creates reaction. With his reagent, he reanimates Dan's deceased cat before moving on to human subjects. From here, Re-Animator breaks down into a glorious display of zombies, beheaded corpses, and pure craziness, leading to an ending sure to entertain. If you like H.P. Lovecraft, medical horror, and insane acting, fire up this beloved, bizarre classic today.
Dr. Pretorius believed the pineal was a dormant sensory organ. A sixth sense.
Yes. Well, that's not a new theory. The philosopher Descartes believed it was the third eye.
If you're in the mood for a double feature, the perfect movie to pair with Re-Animator is this 1986 title, also starring Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton. From Beyond focuses on two scientists attempting to stimulate the pineal gland with a device known as the Resonator. The Resonator reveals creatures from another dimension. Okay, that sounds cool, but the problem is when these creatures drag you into their realm, that's where the real horror takes place. So right off the rip, it should be known this movie is bizarre as shit, and personally, that's what I like about it. When Dr. Pretorius begins to crave the knowledge that the Resonator can show, he becomes obsessed and is taken into the beyond. Dr. Crawford, played by Combs, is soon arrested for his murder and taken for a mental evaluation, performed by Dr. Catherine. While performing a CT scan of Crawford, she notices his pineal gland is enlarged and growing.
That's what she said!
Convinced of his innocence, Crawford is released into the custody of Catherine. They fix the Resonator only to have Dr. Pretorius return from the beyond to attack them both. From here, it's pure Lovecraftian horror punctuated by gruesome creature designs, body horror, and an epic ending sure to entertain any fan of horror.
Dr. Edward Jessup, candidate for a Nobel Prize, is conducting the most dangerous experiment in the history of science. And the subject of the experiment is himself.
In what may be the most bizarre movie from the 80s, Altered States opens in 1967 with Columbia University psychopathologist Edward Jessup. While at a party, he meets his intellectual equal and eventual lover, Emily. From here, the movie jumps ahead 10 years. Edward and Emily are married with 2 daughters, the younger of whom is played by a 5-year-old Drew Barrymore, and Edward is a tenured professor at Harvard Medical School. Now, our old friend Edward was into some strange shit before this, but now is where his interest in esoteric knowledge is kicked up to a whole new level. Edward is obsessed with the idea of finding one's true self, one's original self. He's researched the idea of God and studied many religions. His findings have convinced him that God is within us, that the truest representation of God is our original form. He devises a plan to become his original self. In order to do this, he must travel to Mexico, track down the indigenous Hinchi people, and ask for permission to join their ceremony, which includes ingesting a very special magic mushroom. After the ceremony, Edward takes with him a sample of these magic mushrooms and creates a concoction that he uses to trip while in a sensory deprivation tank. Think 11 in Stranger Things, but more original and with massive amounts of psychedelics. From here, he begins the process of becoming his original self. At this point, I'd just recommend you go and watch this movie yourself. It has some of the trippiest out-of-this-world moments that are a pure treat to watch. And trying to explain the trip this movie brings you on wouldn't do it justice. This is one trip you'll need to experience for yourself.
Altered States.
Let's all go to the lobby.
I have seen the future of horror. His name is Clive Barker. Hellraiser.
Our last entry for today's video is the sadomasochistic Nightmare from 1987, introducing us to Clive Barker and his directorial debut with Hellraiser. When a man who has exhausted all sensory experiences this world has to offer finds a curious puzzle box that promises experiences he can't even fathom, he solves the puzzle and gets ripped to pieces. This man was Frank, and after his disappearance, his brother Larry, Larry's second wife Julia, and Larry's teenage daughter Christy all move into Frank's house. Once Larry cuts his finger and just one drop hits the floorboards, Frank is resurrected as a skinless ghoul. Here we find out Julia and Frank had a past before Larry, a kinky past that she can't forget, and she agrees to bring him souls to feed on so he can regain his true form. This movie takes the term dysfunctional family to a whole new level. As the movie progresses, we learn about the Cenobites. While some see them as angels and others as demons, they confess they are but mere travelers seeking carnal experiences. After centuries of doing this, however, they can't distinguish pain from pleasure and are constantly looking for something to stimulate their desire for something new. Hellraiser is a must-watch from the 80s and rounds out today's list of bizarre 80s movies you can catch on Tubi. That's a wrap, horror fans. So do you find these 80s horror movies to be bizarre? I'm sure you have your own list. Drop me some recommendations in the comments. Until next time, this is Planet Phobia signing off, and as always, wishing you good luck on your horror journey.